The sea has long been a source of mystery, adventure, and tragedy. Sunken ships, carrying treasures lost to time and tide, have fascinated treasure hunters, historians, and explorers for centuries. One of the most legendary of these lost vessels is the Flor de la Mar, a Portuguese ship that sank in 1511 while carrying one of the most valuable cargoes of its time. Filled with priceless treasures, gold, and artifacts, the Flor de la Mar has become an enduring symbol of both Portugal's maritime dominance and the unrelenting power of the sea. This article delves into the story of the Flor de la Mar, its ill-fated voyage, and the ongoing search for its sunken treasures. The Flor de la Mar was a Portuguese carrack, a type of large sailing ship used during the Age of Exploration. The carrack was known for its impressive size and versatility, able to transport both cargo and troops across vast distances. The Flor de la Mar was one of the largest and most famous ships in the Portuguese fleet, built in the early 16th century. It was commissioned to serve as a flagship for the Portuguese voyages to the East Indies, particularly in the wake of Vasco da Gama's successful route to India. The ship was captained by the renowned Portuguese nobleman Afonso de Albuquerque, who had established a strong Portuguese presence in Asia. In 1511, Albuquerque embarked on a mission to expand Portuguese influence in Southeast Asia, with the Flor de la Mar as the key vessel in his fleet. On board the ship was not just the crew and officers, but also a wealth of treasures from the spice trade and a massive collection of treasures gathered from various parts of the Portuguese Empire. The Flor de la Mar was loaded with a fortune when it set sail in 1511. The cargo was said to include vast amounts of gold, silver, precious gemstones, and other valuable materials. These treasures were meant to solidify Portugal's growing wealth and prestige, as they were collected from their trading posts in India, the Maluku Islands, and the rest of Southeast Asia. One of the most famous treasures carried aboard the ship was a vast quantity of gold and silver, which was plundered from the sultanates in the region. The Flor de la Mar also carried exotic goods, including spices, ivory, and precious gems, as well as large amounts of cloth, silks, and other valuable commodities from the East. Additionally, the ship had aboard exquisite artifacts and ceremonial items that represented the richness and diversity of the Portuguese Empire's holdings. This immense cargo was intended to bring great wealth back to Portugal, but disaster would soon strike, and the Flor de la Mar would become a part of maritime legend. In November 1511, the Flor de la Mar set sail from Malacca, a key Portuguese port in Southeast Asia, following the successful completion of Albuquerque's campaign in the region. The ship was bound for Portugal, carrying its precious cargo and some of the most coveted treasures of the time. However, disaster struck in December 1511 when the Flor de la Mar encountered a violent storm while sailing off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. The ship was severely damaged by the powerful winds and waves. Despite the crew's best efforts to save it, the Flor de la Mar was unable to withstand the storm and sank off the coast of the island of Sumatra in the Strait of Malacca. The fate of the ship was sealed in the treacherous waters of the South China Sea. The exact location of the wreckage was not immediately known, but the tragedy of the sinking was well documented at the time. It is believed that hundreds of lives were lost, including sailors, soldiers, and Portuguese officers. But more tragically, the massive cargo of gold, silver, and other precious goods was lost to the ocean, vanishing into the depths. For centuries, the wreck of the Flor de la Mar has remained a mystery. While there have been numerous theories and searches, the exact location of the ship's final resting place has eluded treasure hunters and historians alike. Many early attempts to locate the wreck were based on descriptions from survivors of the disaster, who claimed that the ship went down somewhere near the coast of Sumatra, not far from the island of Java. Over time, this led to speculation that the ship sank in the shallow waters of the Strait of Malacca. Other theories suggested that the ship may have been carried further out to sea, sinking in deeper waters and leaving no visible trace. In the 20th and 21st centuries, numerous expeditions have set out to locate the sunken Flor de la Mar. Advanced technologies, such as sonar mapping, underwater drones, and deep-sea exploration vehicles have been employed in these searches, but to no avail. Despite the mounting technological advancements, the Flor de la Mar's wreckage continues to evade discovery. The Flor de la Mar's treasure is often considered one of the greatest lost fortunes in history. The vast riches aboard the ship, including precious metals, gems, and priceless artifacts, have made it a prime target for treasure hunters. The allure of this fortune, combined with the ship's legendary status, has inspired many to embark on quests to locate its wreckage. Throughout the years, there have been several expeditions to find the Flor de la Mar. In the 1980s, a team of Portuguese researchers, working in collaboration with Indonesian authorities, launched a search for the wreck. However, despite promising sonar readings and the discovery of several possible wreck sites, they were ultimately unable to conclusively identify the location of the sunken vessel. More recent attempts have continued to follow the clues provided by historical documents, eyewitness accounts, and local legends. Some believe the wreck could be found off the coast of Sumatra, while others suggest that it could be buried deep in the waters of the Strait of Malacca. The mystery remains unsolved, and the possibility of recovering the Flor de la Mar's treasure continues to intrigue adventurers and historians alike. While the Flor de la Mar may have been lost to the sea, its story remains an integral part of Portugal's maritime history and the age of exploration. The ship symbolizes both the grandeur and the peril of the era, a time when explorers risked life and limb to expand empires and gather wealth from the farthest corners of the earth. The Flor de la Mar represents the high point of Portuguese exploration, a fleeting moment when the empire reached its peak, only to have it lost in the ocean's depths. The legend of the Flor de la Mar has inspired countless tales of adventure and treasure hunting, and its story continues to capture the imagination of people around the world. Even as the physical ship and its treasures remain elusive, the Flor de la Mar's cultural impact endures. The Flor de la Mar remains one of the most legendary sunken ships in history, its treasures lost forever in the depths of the South China Sea. Despite numerous attempts to locate the wreck, the ship's final resting place has yet to be discovered, and its cargo of gold, silver, and gems remains a tantalizing mystery. The story of the Flor de la Mar is a poignant reminder of the fragility of human endeavors and the unpredictable forces of nature. The allure of lost treasures continues to captivate the human spirit, and the Flor de la Mar will remain an enduring symbol of maritime mystery, the quest for riches, and the inexorable pull of the ocean's depths. As long as the sea continues to hide its secrets, the story of the Flor de la Mar will remain a part of maritime legend, waiting for someone, perhaps one day, to uncover its sunken riches.